Here, the corn is struggling. You know, I can stand in amongst this corn and yeah, I'm taller than the corn. So it's, this 100-acre field is kind of split into three pieces, a third, a third, and a third. A third like this, where it's around 5-6 feet tall. It's now tasseled, so that's kind of it. That's as tall as it's gonna get. The silks are coming in, so it's in the middle of pollinating. So hopefully we get some kind of a cob here, but we're gonna need a rain to, if we get a cob, we're gonna need some rain to help fill that cob. There's another part towards the end where the fall rye was poor in the spring, and we did some tillage. We just tilled that fall rye in. That corn there looks fantastic. It's 9 feet tall, tasseled, pollinated. Cobs are coming. Again, we'll need rain to fill those cobs, but that stuff looks good. But let's take a little walk this way. And I see some corn that just, yeah, it's not very good. About a third of the field looks like this. It, at first glance, looks like I have a pineapple farm. This corn here, it's 2 to 3 feet tall. It is extremely curled up, has that silverish color to it, and this corn is pretty much cooked. There's a patch here, and this is just representative of the field. This is a very sandy, light soiled field, and it rolls a bit. There's actually a few peat moss holes, some darker sand, and yeah, the light sandy stuff like this has corn like this. The darker sand has corn like that, and the sandy peat moss stuff has the 9 foot tall corn. Yeah, we could go in these spots like this and with a disc vine and cut it and bale it. It looks shriveled up and done. There's actually a lot of moisture in there still. I bet you if you cut it today, it would still test around that 80% moisture. So too wet, you'd have to cut it and let it dry down. So you know what, it's not really gonna get much worse than this. The leaves have not started firing off in the bottom, so that's a bit of a good sign. So maybe with a little bit of rain, the stuff will just kind of hang in there and just kind of hold a bit of moisture. And then my plan will be now to chop this field and kind of incorporate these poor spots with the other spots that are okay and really good. And instead of bagging corn silage, unfortunately we're gonna make a pile this year. I like bagging, but this way we can kind of layer this stuff in there. With the bagging, we would get a load of this shorter stuff, and that would be, you know, the face of the bag for a day or two, and then we get some better stuff. And that kind of inconsistency would really throw the cows off, and we don't want that. So I think this way we can blend it. If we can kind of carve out a spot and leave, you know, 20-30 acres of good stuff to get about 300 tons, we may put that in a bag, and then we'd feed that next summer. Because for us, the problem is always feeding in summertime. We only feed the dairy herd in summertime, so we need a very small face to prevent spoilage. In wintertime, we have everybody on feed, including the beef cows, so that we can fly through it. Plus it's cold here, and the face keeps really well in wintertime, so I think a pile will work well for winter and a bag for summer. That's kind of how we're going to handle it. Another issue we're going to have with this short corn is nitrates. The nitrogen is probably sitting right about there right now in the stalk, and actually with some rain, that's going to make that nitrogen move, and that will actually be detrimental if we were to cut it soon. So yeah, one way to combat nitrates in corn is to cut it high, but it's such a crappy crop that if we cut high, we're going to lose even more yield. So we're probably going to end up chopping it low, but in siling it will help bring those nitrates down. In siling, letting it ferment for about 6 weeks. So luckily we have enough corn silage to carry us about 2 months past new crop being in pile, so it'll have plenty of time to ferment. We are also going to put inoculant on there. I'm a big fan of inoculant because I think it's just something you can do to help preserve your investment. So we're going to put inoculant on there. We'll try to pack the crap out of it. This short stuff won't chop very nice. It'll be very flaky feed, and it won't pack as well, but hopefully if we blend this stuff with the better stuff, it will pack well. And we will put 2-3 tractors in the pile if we have to really pack this stuff down as best we can. And yeah, so that's kind of a glimpse of how our corn's doing. And this is kind of representative of the entire area. There's some places where the corn looks okay, and some places where the corn looks terrible. But what we're seeing, or what we're hearing, is a lot of inconsistency. Even like this, in fields it's inconsistent, and from one field to the next there'll be a field that looks really good, half a mile away a field that looks really bad. It's very hit and miss. So I think there will be a lot of grain corn in the area going for silage, which will be a big bonus for livestock guys if they can go in there and salvage that crop for silage. And I'm really hoping that all producers can work together on that to you know, help each other out.